Tim pushed the cart slowly but decisively. He was not panicking. He was calculating. Mai Lin walked beside him, her eyes quietly observing the faces around them. A middle-aged man, his shirt soaked with sweat, argued loudly with an employee because there were no generators left. A young couple debated fiercely in front of the battery rack, as though it were a life or death decision for their marriage. And there were certain eyes, the eyes of people who had just realized they had arrived too late. The ammunition section was roped off with red plastic tape. A white sign, handwritten in uneven letters, read, "Limit per person, 2 boxes 9mm, 2 boxes .223, no refunds." The employee behind the counter had dark circles under his eyes. His uniform shirt was wrinkled. His voice had grown hoarse from repeating the same sentence hundreds of times. "We're out, sir." "No, we don't know when more will come." "Yes, the limit applies to everyone." Tim stood in line. His hands rested on the cart handle. He could feel his heartbeat, steady but heavy. When his turn came, Tim managed to buy the following: 2 boxes of 9mm, 2 boxes of .223. The employee pushed them across the counter without looking at him for more than a second. Tim placed the 4 boxes of ammunition into the cart. Then he glanced to the right. Only a few steps away stood the first aid kit shelf. Not much remained. A few large expensive kits, several small ones missing supplies, and another man reaching for the last medium-sized kit, the exact type Tim had intended to buy. For a moment, Tim stood still. Then he decided to take the remaining first aid kits that were left. A first aid kit could keep someone from dying. Faces from earlier that morning returned to his mind. Believers in Vietnam, elderly neighbors, and whoever might knock on his door when everything began to collapse. Just then, Mai Lin stopped. She heard hurried breathing behind her. Not the sound of someone rushing, but the sound of someone on the verge of breaking down. A woman stood near the sleeping bag shelf. Her hands trembled. Her eyes were red. In front of her sat an almost empty shopping cart with only a few loose bottles of water rolling inside. "There's nothing left," her voice choked. "My home. I have small children. I don't know what to do." Mai Lin did not think. She stepped forward and gently placed her hand on the woman's arm. "Take a slow breath," she said, her voice low but steady. "You are not alone." The woman looked at her as if grasping the last thread of hope. Mai Lin turned toward Tim. No words were needed.